What's up guys, it's Hio, and today we're back in another Sword of Convallaria video. Today I thought I'd do some playtesting with one of my oldies but goldies, and that is Nungal. Now Nungal is one of those units that has had a long history in Sword of Convallaria. I think they're literally in most content, like Spiral of Destiny, The Fool's Journey, all the main content. Like I think she plays a big role in all of that. She's like been at #1 unit, so hopefully most of y'all know her, but for those who don't know, basically she's a unit that excels at dealing long range damage, so she's mostly a DPS unit. In fact, her trait goes to even give you more range if you don't move. On top of that, when dealing damage, you get 4% up to 40% more damage based on how far your target is from Nungal. So basically, the further you are from your target, the more damage you deal. On top of that, she has an ability that sort of exacerbates this ability, which is Sniping Stance. Basically gives you 2 more range on top of the extra 1 range from your trait to deal damage, right? So you get 3 extra tiles of range on her abilities. On top of that, she gets more attack damage from her Sniping Stance and crit. So she really just wants to stay still, chillax, and get a cup of coffee while she's sniping people. She's, I guess, kind of cool in that sense, right? Like, you literally can stay in your spawn, or like your deployment, and just hit units. That's how much range you have, which is kind of funny. I don't know there's many units outside of like Convallaria that can do that. So like it's kind of unique in that sense. But also if you really just like, need to hit one unit for whatever reason, like this is probably one of those characters that like I would choose, like one of the top characters to choose, or units to choose, because she just has that much range. Okay, so what do I think of Nungal? What does she excel at? Honestly, only damage. If you look at her kit, the only thing she really has going for her is damage. Like literally all of her abilities either reduce cooldown to some extent, or deal damage, or help us deal damage, right? Like you got damage, extra crit, extra damage, crit damage. There's absolutely no crowd control outside of literally her first attack, which is Marking Bullet, which is kind of funny. So like that goes to say that like if she can't do her job and stand still and like hit the target, then you probably don't want to use Nungal. Take that out any way you will. She just doesn't have any crowd control, so you can't really use her as like a supportive unit or a debuffer unit unless you really need the move down 1. Like move down 1 is like your absolute requirement. Not move down 2, but move down 1, right? There are cases where like you're playing like a hanged men's sort of team composition where Nungal is probably one of the better units because she can hit from afar to apply like realistically and deterministically the hanged man's mark. That's like one instance, and she can be like a supportive cleanup unit. Other than that, like I guess a supportive, like quote unquote supportive cleanup unit, that's also something she could be. But at that point, it's like I think most other units can do the same thing. So yeah, that's what it's going for. So you just want to deal damage from far away and do the most damage. So what do I run on her personally? Personally, I'm sort of unsure about her build in particular. I know there's a few ways to build her. You can do like the pure auto or basic attack based build. I think it's got some merits to it. I'm a big fan of casting like her big heavy hitters like Darken. One thing I have been playing around is like using Darken or using Powerful Shot as like the main mana spenders. Darken is cool in that it does a little more damage, but also if you can apply the Marking Bullet, maybe apply a Marking Bullet between the Darken attacks, then like the crit from the Darken is gonna feel so good. It's gonna absolutely feel so good. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But if you do go for the, I think, Powerful Shot for my playing of this sort of build, is that I feel like Powerful Shot is a little more consistent, where you don't have to really take turns off. You just have always mana up because you can use the quick reload on top of the, if you use the Powerful Shot in place of Darken, then you can just basically have it 100% uptime. That's like pretty strong because generally, you want your DPS to always be dealing damage, which is also one of the other cons of this unit. Is there will be times when units literally are in your face, and as Nungal, you can't do anything. Like if you look at her attacks, her Marking Bullet, I think most of her basics do this. They have like the single target, or units 1 tile in a cross shape to you literally can't be touched. You literally can't touch them. So, and that's on top of like her other abilities too. I think her Darken does the same thing. So literally if you have something like Tiden or Magnus just like literally on top of you, just like sitting on you, you can't do much. You're out of luck. And most of the time, like if you do have them on you, it's probably PvE content where these units also have like disruption protection. They can't be disrupted, so you can't move them back, can't do anything. They're just there wailing on your damage dealer, and you can't do anything about it. So she just basically sits there and dies. She's like actually sitting there and dying, which is like kind of funny, but also like kind of sad because, you know, I want my girl to succeed in life. She's a good girl. Okay, so basically that's the build. I'm actually, yeah, we're gonna play test it a little bit here on Tiden. There's only been a few times I've been able to kill a Tiden in here with Nungal, but we're gonna see if we can do it again. Okay, then we also have the weapons for Nungal. This is, I guess, maybe the more interesting parts of the build, where like your, I guess, build can really shine, is like what weapon you choose. Personally, I think most of the time I don't see Nungal, while also being heralded as like a large nuker, usually they aren't really absolutely nuking a single unit. So you really feel like you should be applying something else other than damage, just so that you can have some longer lasting effect on the field, outside of like your turns where you have to like reposition or something. Just like make sure you get good use out of being far away and applying stuff. So I thought about Longbow of Martyrs. I think this could be pretty beneficial. I imagine Nungal trying to kill a unit, and then you have to reposition. But then you can also have the tank or someone else who doesn't have much damage apply just a little more damage to do some cleanup on the front line. That was the thought behind this. Also, that's a pretty strong, heavy, like 10% physical attack, which is great. The other, I think, bows I was looking at didn't quite have as much damage straight up in the beginning. Like, for example, the Whale Hunter doesn't give you any immediate damage. The Raid Crossbow, it could give you good damage, but the issue with this one is you just need to go heavy on the crit. And I'm personally not the biggest fan of going heavy on the crit. That might be because I just don't know how a good or decent crit build goes. Every time I build Nungal with crit, she literally gets up to 90% crit or something like this. And then, I kid you not, I never crit. Like, the whole game I will just never crit. So that, maybe I'm just unlucky. But like, this is, I mean, 20% of the character's physical attack is piercing damage. Seems pretty good, right? It seems like a pretty valid amount of damage. So yeah, that's like also a chance. I know she does have a lot of crit in her build. It's just, I've not had the best luck with the crit. Maybe it is good, but it's just, I don't know. Maybe next time I'll figure something out with that. And then you can go Whale Hunter or Meteor Line. Honestly, my biggest thoughts are either Meteor Line or Longbow of the Martyrs. Meteor Line, in that like it sort of works as Longbow of the Martyrs, except it applies different sorts of debuffs that might be helpful in like reducing the units like physical defense or magical defense, so that like other units can go in and like deal enough damage to wipe them out. So they're really similar in that case. Also, it applies a nice little chunk of physical attack for Nungal, so she can deal some nice flat damage. Okay, for the trinket, this is, I think, pretty open for Nungal. I think there's like a few ways you can put trinkets on Nungal. You can have something like the Maverick's Cloak. Usually Nungal is like literally so far away from any other unit that like Maverick Cloak is like okay to wear, which is kind of funny because I think most of the time if you are wearing Maverick Cloak, it's like you're soloing a single map. So that's like a cool thing about Nungal, is like making use of this. You can go for the Flying Blade Arm Guard as well. The cool thing about Flying Blade Arm Guard is it actually works pretty well with Nungal's trait, because Nungal's trait says as long as you haven't moved, and also if you are in sniping stance, that's an extra 3 range on the Arm Guard. So like it's a decent way of like cleaning up attack, or also even initiating, right? I think that gives it essentially like 5 tile range, which is like not bad, right? Not too bad. But this is only 15% piercing damage, so you still got to do a lot more damage. And honestly, if you're this close with, and this is like a little weird, because like if you're this close dealing damage, it's like you probably want to get away a little bit more, right? Like the units that you're trying to kill are probably too close for comfort. So that's a little thing to keep in mind. I have been trying the True Lens. This is like okay. It gives you a decent chunk of physical attack. I think it really excels when you're in Highland. You get the extra crit. Nungal by herself, her trait gives her 15% crit, and also another 15% crit from her sniping stance, which is I think you run on most builds, regardless if you're going crit or not, or auto. So you're already doing like, I think 50% crit, right? The 25% plus the 15, so it's 50% crit base, which is pretty good. Like that's pretty solid, right? And that's without even going to crit build. So this is like really good. And also I think this is like the only, I think, respectable, or like, I guess pretty safe trinket if you don't have something like Origin Hourglass or Shield of Justice, where like these two are definitely something that I guess the Shield of Justice a little more than the Hourglass might be better, because I just don't think like Nungal really needs the immunity to move down or speed down, because she already has essentially the Night Sniper's intuition, and if she's using this too much, you're probably not positioning correctly. So that's sometimes feels like wasted stats there. But yeah, I think generally like Shield of Justice is like a good pick for literally any other unit though. Yeah, definitely try those out. On top of that, I don't know what else you could use. I mean, you could probably try. There's a few things you could probably try, but like I don't know if it's worth it really. I think those are the top of mind though. And then for the tarot card, I'm personally a big devil junkie, so I will literally strap a devil on anything just because I have so many devils. I've just been investing in it so much that it literally feels good on any unit, and I just love the fact that like over the span of the game I'll just have more damage. Just like the idea of keep on getting stronger through the course of the game just feels good to me, so I just run devil on a lot of stuff. If you don't run devil, I think there's two other choices though. You can go something like Majesty of the Emperor, which I don't even know if I have. It's just such a rare it's such like a rare tarot for me. I just never use it. And I think Majesty of the Emperor gives you an extra 10% damage on healthy units. Oh, here it is. Majesty of the Emperor. Yeah, 10% damage against healthy units when attacking. So it just helps like nuke people, which is strong. But I'm also not sure how this compares with something like the Magician, because the Magician gives you 8% damage increase, and the same thing for the Majesty of the Emperor. But the thing about the Magician is it can also increase based on how many additional enemies you hit. And my thought is like, does that literally mean you just need one more enemy to hit in order to get that 12% damage increase? But to me, that just seems like, is there really any use for the Majesty of the Emperor then? Because literally, any time you use Majesty of the Emperor, you're probably just better off using Magician. And it's not even like, oh, physical attack is like increased versus enemies that are healthy, right? It's just like straight damage increase. So it's kind of uncertain here whether or not if you should go Dream always over Magician. But that's like an idea. You can also go one other one, the crit one. Not crit, but Raise the Sun. So when attacking an injured unit, you get to ignore 20% of their defense. This I think is like pretty respectable. I don't use it personally, but I can also see this being super useful, and the fact that like you're just using Nungal as like a sort of cleanup crew to remove some of the stragglers on the battlefield. I think that's also pretty strong. Okay, so that is my current thoughts on the Nungal build. I think for this run though, we can probably just try something like probably just one of the Shield of Justice. There we go. And then we get the Resonance, which is nice. That's right, I can probably go over, what are they called? They're not called perks, are they? The engravings? The engravings are sort of like, I'm kind of unsure about the engravings. Like, you actually know. I'm actually thinking about this now. I actually really didn't go too deep into the engravings, but I'm thinking now, the Sword plus Sword engraving on Nungal, that might be good. But the issue with like investing in the engravings is you have to invest in Nungal, and to me, she's not currently in a situation where you need to invest in. And that's also something I forgot to mention, is like some of the issues with Nungal personally, in my opinion, after playing her a little bit. Sword I think is like pretty strong though. Wand on Wand I think is okay. But I'm thinking like Wand plus Cup might be also really solid. And then literally the most solid ones of them all is Sword plus Cup. I get the damage with Lifesteal. It's like pretty solid overall. I'm running with the Engraving Resonance just because I think how it'll work, if you do get it up in time for the Darken, then basically you have another free Darken attack, and that's like really strong. So like nuke after nuke is really good. And plus on top of that, just because it kind of synergizes really well with Quick Reload, because Quick Reload does give Darken a no cooldown period, as long as you can spam enough energy. So that's going to be like pretty strong if you keep spamming that. Okay, so now let's talk about some of the issues I've seen with Nungal and perhaps how you can hedge against them based on my own personal thoughts. For one is that, I think I said this before, is issues with Nungal is she doesn't do anything besides damage. So literally, if you need a single target damage dealer that shoots from far away, Nungal is probably your gal. She's got no sort of debuffs or crowd control really. So anywhere you can find them is like pretty helpful, I guess, in some sense, if you can get some on her. Although she does generally want just more damage over like crowd control type stuff, because literally she just does damage. All her abilities just do damage. On top of that is her sort of reliance on keeping things away from her. So I've tried a few games where like, oh, can I possibly beat the Titan stage without any help? Like there are units that can do that, right? You've got Luffy, you've got Pamina, like these units can single-handedly just destroy the Titan stage. But Nungal, she's not one of those units. Granted, I think most destroyers probably can't do that, but like I was really trying with Nungal, and you literally can't. It's impossible. I'm actually, though, I am interested if anyone can beat the Titan stage without any other units besides Nungal. That would be interesting. I dub that the Titan challenge if anyone can do that. Yeah, that would be cool. Maybe Exemplar can do that, because I know he does a lot of cool stuff like that. Okay, so yeah, so the other thing is keeping units at bay with Nungal. So you'll notice that Nungal does have this nice little blind spot in front of her whenever she uses her abilities like Darken or her Marking Bullet or any of her basic attacks really. And the issue with that is she literally is going to sit there and die if you have someone on top of her. That's kind of rough. So what ends up happening is I think you really want to start building a team that can do crowd control for her, so that way she can stay safe and stay back and the units don't get closer. Because also if they're getting closer, you're doing less damage, right? Like you have to be far in order to deal lots of damage to Nungal. I think in general, where you want to be with Nungal is at least like 3 tiles away. I think most abilities get up to like the 10-ish% damage point. And so if you want Nungal to be in line with those sort of numbers, you got to make sure they're at least 3 tiles away, right? Because that's going to be like 12% damage here, at least with my 3-star Nungal. So yeah, keep that in mind. You definitely need someone to help her in there. Other than that though, because you also want to spam, at least with this build, Darken a lot, you also want a mana regener. Someone that can sit by, chill with Nungal, and also be doing something else for the team, and like giving her energy. So she's kind of needy in that sense, right? Like in general, I feel like you definitely want units that can stand by themselves and don't really need anyone else's help, like handholding. Which is I think why you see a combat in sort of similar vein, where like he's very mana intensive or energy intensive, so you have to build around him a little bit. I think Nungal's similar, but you can, if you play safely or like I guess cautiously, maybe get around it. But the issue with that is like the effort in order to make that sort of situation work is just too much, right? You literally just want to like, you know, not really use any brain cells in my opinion, in order to like really succeed in something. So yeah, she really makes you think, but it's very obvious what her powers are. So let's go into a game, and let's build a team. Let's build a Nungal team. I don't know exactly how I want to build this yet. Well, I think in general, we're gonna want someone who can frontline, and then we want someone who can apply basically some sort of crowd control or like move down, something like this. It doesn't have to generally be like immediately like move down to, like we don't need tear to like keep on slowing people, but like even like an ice field would be helpful. In general, I'm thinking something like someone who can give her energy too. Now all those probably aren't accomplishable in one single unit, but you can just get them into a single team and like add some synergy. Immediately thinking though, I'm like, oh, Nurgle literally does all that, right? Like he's got the knockback and he's got the speed down. Oh, that's not move down. Okay, I was thinking move down. Move down would be great. Speed down is like okay, but that just means like Nungal can hit faster than they can come back into her, right? But he also can apply the Hangman's Mark, which is like okay, but not needed. Because we're just gonna be spamming Darken, and when the Darken then cooldown, we're basically gonna get the mark on there anyways for the next Darken hit. We could also sort of rely a little bit on the Scorch tiles just because they do slow down movement just a tiny bit, but not as much as the Frosted tiles. So that's something to think about. We could do something like Apple Ice Priest or Apple Ice Priest or the Darklight Ice Priest. But we also want mana regeners. Okay. Like Candlelight could be strong here. Does Candlelight? Yeah, Candlelight immediately gives you the energy. So we could like do something like this. We can just keep Candlelight on like some chill, just like I'm just gonna kill Nungal type stuff here. So like she's not really gonna be in the fray battle at all. Okay, and then we can use. Let's see. What other unit has slows? We can do Afra. The issue with using like Afra is that it's gonna feel like Afra is going to excel too much and kind of overshine Nungal. That's gonna be kind of rough. I think Coco would be fine here as like a front line. So maybe we just use like the Papal Ice Priest. I think I did use some before, like a Nungal type game mode. I think this is like okay. We could probably do one more just to play it safe. But even then, like this is such like a sus sort of setup, just because like, yeah, Nungal really does need setup in my opinion. What can we add here? Honestly, probably should add some debuffs here. Like this is like the cleanup crew. Oh, they already have the magic attack on there. Apply some debuffs. Totally cleanup crew. Where's another magic attack devil? I am such a devil junkie. This could work. Okay, cool. So I think this should work okay. This just like goes over my current. This hopefully like shows off how Nungal will work effectively in a team comp. Basically building a team around her. Okay, so let's go. So the cool thing about this Teeden fight too is Teeden does have a lot of charges, so we can potentially see him like just run up on Nungal and like ruin our whole day. That would suck, but like it's definitely gonna be possible. Okay, this is gonna be a little rough, but hopefully not too rough. Oof, that sucks. Okay, but I think we're okay. Basically, I think we just want to get that dude away from us. The ice cone could be helpful here. The flash freezing inflicts move down 3. That does basically keep them still. Okay, now we can move Nungal back here. We can probably try to take this dude out. Like that's also like one of the issues with Nungal is like now she's damaged, she's slow, she's got all these like issues with her, like she can't attack to her fullest extent because literally someone outsped her and like damaged her. Now she has to worry about that person like attacking her. Like she's got a lot to get over, a lot of hurdles. Okay, but we think we can kill him, which is like really good. Otherwise we'd be in a pretty tough situation. We can just kill this dude. Okay, we proc all of our doubles. Just like very nice. Okay, and then we also can end up yeah, just healing everyone here. The issue is like, do I target this one? Scholar of the Union or the Knighted Guard? I feel like the Scholar, just because they're a little closer to the Nungal. Oh, we don't quite get the Nungal in range either, but let's just do the Knighted Guard actually. I don't think they get any closer. I think they like play more safely. Like this might be a little too meta, but like hopefully this works. Okay, move this back. Okay, cool. Iron Pot Stew. Whew, that's close. I'm like, oh, are you gonna actually kill my Nungal? Because she's just sitting back there with no health. I'm like, actually like flinching, like, okay, we can do this. Also just slow this dude down. Because if he has any way, because he has a flash or a gap closer too. That would totally ruin the play. So I think we just like try to target this dude. TBH. Get him out of the way. Jeez. Gain a physical shield. Not really needed. Could just do this. Okay. It's kind of annoying that they have this shield here. Oh, that's just like damage reflection, right? But you can see as they're slowly encroaching on Nungal, she's like dealing less damage, but also dealing a little more damage because of the double. Less damage because they're getting consumed. So it's like a really hard sort of line to keep there. Do this. It has a resolve though, right? Oh, it took the resolve out. Q, and we get a double here. Then we can see we're doing 10k damage though here, right? Like this is sort of showing how strong she can get. Granted, it does require some setup, but like she's gonna be able to like eventually just one shot the Titan. She's only had like how many stacks does she have? Only 3 stacks of double, so she's gonna be hitting pretty hard. That's literally like everyone though with double. They just all hit hard. Oof, almost killed myself there. Okay, so now we can also finish on that. Uh-oh, she might die here. Wow, she barely did die. She's actually holding on so hard. Okay, there we go. And that's why we have Coco on our team. Yeah, this is a situation where like you literally can't do anything about this. Not that we could, because it also has the dodge. But it's like, yeah, now you have to take a turn off in order to potentially do some damage next turn. So is the fate of Nungal. We do get to apply another Wanted Notice. That does mean you can potentially one-shot with the Nungal next turn, just from being able to land a crit for the Darken. Let's see, we can apply the Iron Pot Stewed to ensure we get that crit. Okay, and then let's see how hard we hit here. Probably should have went a little further, right? Let's walk a little further away. Just see if we get bigger damage. Does this hit? This doesn't hit. This hits though. Wait, what? Wait, why didn't it do more damage? Is it the invisibility? I think it is invisibility. Shouldn't account for it. But I do have the act again, right? The tactics? I do have it. Okay, cool, cool. We do this. Proc the invis. Do the quick reload, then darken. Okay, 13k. I mean, we've seen higher Nungal hits personally. I've seen 15k personally, but like, see, it's pretty respectable. Can we also one-shot the crossbowman? We can't. This is also the reason you probably can't one-shot the crossbowman is because of the roll. The roll is pretty big here. But like 13k here, This is literally almost, not quite half the team's health. Pretty good, pretty strong. Look at that, it crit too. 20k damage with a crit. So that's my current way I would currently build Nungal. Like I said, you can go a few other routes, like the basic attacks. I'm not too sure about the basic attacks personally. Like, we're not gonna finish the whole map. Yeah, we can just run this through, but we're gonna run through the basic attack one. Basic attacks won't require any sort of additional support. I think literally it's just like dealing big crits. It does require some other stuff with like the fact that you need crit from a lot of other sources, so you can't like go heavy on Devil. I think actually you can keep the Devil and go to the Maverick Cloak because you still have like that crazy range. But you want like this to be fatal attack. There is something we said about like keeping Marking Bullet and then applying crits from the Sense of Purpose. It does require a little bit setup, but this does mean we can like use other slots, like equipment slots. This gives 30% immediately. So 30% on top of the passive, on top of the sniping stance. That's another 30, so 60. And then we get another 15 from here. That's okay. Then we get another 12 from here. It's like we're butting on 90% just with this, and we keep the Devil. And we could get the, but then again, it's like we need to also wait. So the Sense of Purpose with, I think, the full draw, right? It took the full draws that you have to take a turn off though. You can do the Darna to guarantee the crit. I kind of like this. 30, 30. Oh, we can't apply Hangman's Mark though if we do this way. We can just go without the crit. The crit is kind of like I said, like I'm not too lucky with the crits, so maybe we just go without it. We should go straight physical attack. Could be, and if we crit, we crit. Do something like this. Yeah, you guys are definitely gonna have to help me with the crit build. I think this is like okay for like an auto attack build to Nungal. I don't know if it's the best, and honestly not the flashiest. I really like seeing my Darken abilities. Oh, also one thing we're missing too is like an energy spender, but I think that's just the way that Nungal plays if you play with like basic attacks. You just don't have a way to spend the energy, so it's kind of like a wasted resource. Okay, we can, I think, play the same way here. Just have them come up here. Heal up here. Honestly, we're probably gonna keep ganging up on her. This is kind of a good setup for us. Like everyone is just chilling right here. Hits 3. So I'm guessing if we crit, I actually don't know the crit multiplier for this game. Is the crit multiplier 2 times 2? Might be 1.5. If it's times 2, like 8k, I guess 9k, pretty good. If it's not, like 6k is also okay. 6k damage. Oh, the block decreases the damage by 20%. 20%, and we did the, and we crit with the 20%. So like that's not accounting for the defense either. So I think the crit is times 2. Let's use some AoE. Uh-oh. Might get hit here. Oh, we don't get hit. Like, this is a pretty nice... Actually, this is a nice showing of Nungal not being as needy here, because no one's really rushing her down. But you can see, like, they're getting really close here. Kind of not the best position, because literally, if anyone with a brain just like went after my Nungal, she couldn't do anything. She just like slightly run away. Okay, how much damage? 7k. 7k here. Kills. If the Ballista had any thought, like any brain cell, it also would like one-shot my Nungal as well. Okay, but that's I don't want to finish this because it's gonna be pretty obvious, but yeah, that's basically the basic attack build. I think it's not as flashy, but it still kind of does similar jobs. So, and I guess it does a little bit less range, so I guess it does maybe a little less damage, but most intents purposes, I think it's pretty fine and manageable. But yeah, that's Nungal. I think she's pretty cool. I think her playstyle is pretty unique in such a way that most units don't get +3 extra range. I know some get a little more range, maybe at like +2 range at like 5-star, like I'm thinking like Nydia, or I guess +1 range on top of most attacks that deal an additional, that deal like 3 or 4 range, which is, I think Lilywheel. I think Lilywheel does like the third maybe most range out of like the bow users. So like there's a few that do a lot of range, but I think Nungal still does the most range. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about Nungal. Are y'all playing her? What kind of team do you use for her? I think generally she just needs a high investment in a team comp, or if you play just like, I don't know, if you what team comp works best for her? Because I don't know what's the best team comp for her, but she's kind of fun to play, so I still mess with her a little bit here and there. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. Peace out. I'll catch y'all later.